Money is the root of all evil, is what some people say, but why do these pieces of paper or numbers on a screen matter so much? Back in the day, and I mean way back, money wasn't a thing. You had to trade for what you wanted. I'll give you 1 animal skin for 12 apples. But eventually, some local geniuses came up with the idea of, hey, what if instead people exchange shiny coins for various things? And nobody can say no to the shiny things, so money was born. Nowadays, we use paper in addition to coins, but this is to prevent people from going Gollum mode on the shiny round things. Probably. Being in the US, we use the dollar. But money isn't perfect. After all, it's not made of chocolate, which is pretty disappointing. But that's not the only problem. Money makes people do some crazy things. Lots of people are very greedy about money, especially people with a lot, which is quite ironic. Millionaire and billionaire business owners have enough money to buy literally anything they want, yet they still use as many tactics as possible to gouge people out of as much money as they can, which I think is a bit stupid. What do you, pal? Why do you care about money at this point? You literally don't have to work anymore. You can buy whatever you need and whatever you want, like a giant mansion, a private jet, a friend, but for some reason, the knowledge of having a bigger number in your bank gives you dopamine. But even if you still want a lot of money, you can still have a good company that doesn't only try and make profit to appease investors. Also, why does it seem like investors are idiots? Like, AI stock stuff is going up because they think it's the next big thing, even though most people don't even like it being shoved in their faces. Investing is kind of like gambling. You don't know for sure if you'll make money, but you know what else is like gambling? Sorry for that awful transition. Old people would be like, "Them kids and their screens," and then proceed to stare at a screen spending their retirement funds with every lever pull. Gambling is where you give money with the chance that you'll get money in return. The odds are literally not in your favor, and this is well-known information, and people will go all in anyways. But hey, 95% of gamblers quit right before they're about to win big. But can you blame them for quitting? Gambling is addictive. The dopamine rush of having a chance of winning big is greater than, like, getting a job. Now, if someone's like, "Do this and I'll give it $20, even if it doesn't give much dopamine, people will do it anyways, leading me to my next point. People will do crazy things for money, which is great if you're rich and really good at trolling. You can make your friends do embarrassing things like lick the floor, ask out your other friend, and other various acts of tomfoolery, all for the promise of sweet, sweet cash. But let's be real, we'd all kiss a guy for $20. Wait, what do you mean you wouldn't? Even if you aren't keen on embarrassing yourself, a form of bribery still exists, controlling our very lives. That being... Unfortunately, we need money to buy what we need to live, and the only way you're gonna get a sufficient amount is through a job. Jobs can be either decent or absolutely suck. And most absolutely suck. What comes into your mind when you think of a career? Working at an office, a restaurant, possibly starting a business, or being an artist? I'm just kidding, artists don't make any money. But if people were given the option to not work and still get money, probably like 95% of people would stop doing their job. Don't get me wrong, you can still enjoy your job, but for 40 hours a week, that'll suck the joy out of anything. And yet we still work because we have to. Unless you come up with some sort of way to get rich quick, and my next point is great at that, being... Some people are so desperate for money that they will steal it from others in very dishonest ways. Good old scams, you just can't escape them. Emails telling you you're eligible for money from owning a new car, random texts informing you about the cash prize you just won, random people in India telling you your computer has a virus and you need to pay to fix it. Scams are everywhere, all across the internet, and it's very hard to avoid them. I've made the mistake of answering one scam call, and I've gotten at least 20 in the past couple days. This is my old phone. I'm recording with my new one. I don't know about you, but I'd rather die from starvation than wrongfully steal from some poor old single mom or old lady. Maybe. I haven't been in that situation, but I'd rather live my life believing that I have morals. I can't think of a good transition. But you know what's worse than stealing on the internet? Stealing in real life! Banks and jewelry stores are the normally stereotyped thing to steal from, but people get money in far more nefarious ways. There's black markets for things like drugs because they know people will pay for them. We try and stop all this, but it's harder than it should be. Like, I don't know why we just SWAT team into all these places and kill everyone. Apparently killing everyone is morally wrong, which since when did I care about being moral? I just want justice. Now it's time to answer the question, is money the root of all evil? Kind of. My dad informed me that the quote, "money is the root of all evil," is actually a misquote, and it's the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, which is actually a Bible quote from 1 Timothy 6:10. So, what have we learned? Be responsible with your money, and content with what you have. If your goal is to have as much money to buy as many things as possible, you'll never be satisfied. That's why billionaires keep trying to make money when they literally could buy whatever they want. I like to think I'm responsible with my money, but I'm going to spend $400 on a giant Sylveon plush, which to me is a completely reasonable thing to do, but will probably make others cry. Thanks for watching, and always remember, boss makes $1, I make a dime, that's why I poop on company time. See ya! Money is the root of all evil. That was too happy. Money's the root of all evil! And we'll move on to our corporate greed section. The odds are literally. The odds are literally. She's bribery. Which to me is a completely.